Hello and welcome to our first screencast for Social Problems, Fall 2015. This is Chapter 1, Social Problems, the sociological approach to social problems. Let's take a minute and look over, please, the learning objectives for the class. I think we've got these. Let's see here. You'll see these learning objectives 1.1 through 1.6. We've also, these are also reproduced on your website for your class site for week 1. Okay. The U.S. population reached about 300 million in 2006. By 2043, the U.S. population could be 400 million. What effect will this increase have on social problems? The following are issues to consider as we move forward. First, immigration and the browning of America. America is becoming less white and it's becoming older simultaneously. The inequality gap. The inequality gap is now at record levels, resulting in a diminished middle class. For the bottom 3/5 of earners in the United States, income has stagnated since 1970. The increasing power of money to influence elections and public policy. A 2010 Supreme Court decision, the Citizens United decision, allows corporations and other organizations to spend unlimited amounts to direct or defeat political candidates anywhere in the country. As the population of the United States and of the Earth continues to grow, the scope of social problems will change. Globalization is a concept that we're going to be exploring, the transformation of the economy. A shift from manufacturing to a service economy has resulted in less job security and fewer benefits for the worker in the United States. The plight of the poor. Nearly 1 in 6 Americans is poor in 2015. The impact on the environment. The United States, at about 4.5% of the world's population, consumes 1/4 of the world's energy. There's a global inequality. About an estimated 1.1 billion people in the world are undernourished. An increasingly dangerous world. A higher world population has an impact on poverty, hunger, water shortages, disease, and political chaos. With the increased population in the United States and across the globe, we will see changes to problems. With economic shifts, the number of people pushed into homelessness in the United States increases. Social problems in the United States have an impact on adults as well as children. Although social problems cause hardship for adults, the future seems bleak when children are affected. This textbook will consider potential solutions to social problems as well. Let's look a little bit at the history of social problems theory. Early sociologists and the medical model of society presumed universal criteria of what was normal. Social problems were a result of bad people. Maladjusted people were abnormal because of mental deficiency, mental disorder, lack of education, or incomplete socialization. They were assessing a pathology that was present and causing a social problem, the degree to which. Alcoholism, suicide, homicide, and theft were considered to be the social problems that were the focus of analysis. We might agree, but the approach leaves out the complexity of social problems. A shift away from this absolutism and on to social conditions that foster problems occurs in the 20s and 30s. Societies were undergoing at that time rapid changes from the processes of migration, urbanization, and industrialization. These were thought to have create pockets of social disorganization, crime, family breakdown, and mental disorders. Social problems are based on the audience or group defining them as a problem. Social problems are contextual. They vary over time and group. Here's an example. Pollution has not always been considered a social problem. Sexual harassment was not considered a social problem when there were basically gender segregated workplaces, or women were homemakers. Sociologists have difficulty agreeing on an adequate definition of social problems. There is a continuing debate over the unit of analysis. Is the focus of inquiry on individuals or social systems? Related to the latter is the issue of numbers. How many people have to be affected before something is a social problem? The social problems addressed in the textbook focus on the dark side of social life. Readers, it is hoped, will find the exploration of the dark side of social life intriguing, insightful, and useful. Sociologists If we talk about an objective definition of a social problem, we can speak of two definitions, right? There are material or psychic suffering, poverty, institutional racism, social considerations that limit opportunities in a country that values social opportunity, discrepancies between values and actual conditions. A normative approach assumes that some kind of actions are likely to be judged bad in any context. Therefore, it is important to identify, describe, and explain situations that are objective social problems. The powerful, the agencies of government. Two problems with relying on only objective definitions. First, they look only at social problems defined by the powerful, and overlooks the problems experienced by those with no power, and accepts the inequities experienced by minority group members. And second, looking only at social problems defined by public opinion limits problems to behaviors and actions that disrupt the existing social order. It assumes that this social order is the only way. It leaves out questions about the distribution of justice, education, and power, and focuses exclusively on those who deviate, and excludes the unethical, illegal, and destructive actions of powerful individuals, groups, and institutions. It ignores the covert institutional violence brought about by racist and sexist policies, unjust tax laws, inequitable patterns of healthcare injustice, and exploitation in the corporate world. Sociologists examine the discrepancy between the defined social standard and reality. Those who go too far outside of the social standard or the norm are labeled as deviants. Location in the social structure, predicated on race, ethnicity, gender, class, age, occupation, sexuality, role, and in space, region, size of community, neighborhood, may lead to deviant behavior. Norm violators, the deviants, should not be entirely blamed for their deviance. They are victims of a society that they reside in. The system is to blame. Situations affecting deviance, such as barriers to success faced by minority group members, help explain why some categories of people participate disproportionately in deviant behavior. Social problems are culturally defined and socially labeled. Sociologists are interested in the social and cultural processes that label some acts and persons as deviant and others as normal. The law is an instrument of those in power, according to this assessment. Acts labeled deviant are so labeled because they conflict with the interest of those in power. This ends part 1, Chapter 1 screencast.